If you have ever wanted to learn how to create a custom website that has a really amazing front end visual builder, then you're going to love this video because I'm going to share with you guys how to create a custom website using Wix Studio. Hey everyone, my name is Megan. I have been a graphic designer for the last 8 going on 9 years, and I've worked with hundreds of clients and used lots of different website platforms. So I can't wait to do a deep dive on Wix Studio today, share with you guys all my honest thoughts, and also share with you some of the features that you might not know about it. But first, let's talk about how to choose Wix Studio out of all the other platforms, when to know if this platform is right for you or for your clients. Wix Studio is a great fit if you are looking for a platform that gives you full design freedom. If you love to go on the front end of your website and drag and drop and play around with a really customizable template, then you're going to love Wix Studio and it's going to be great for you. You're going to be able to do that without having to plug in a bunch of code and without having to work off of a template, which is my favorite part about it. So not only is Wix Studio a great fit if you like that freedom with your design, but also if you're a visual person and you like that drag and drop feel, then Wix Studio will provide that for you. Wix Studio is also a great fit if you are looking for a web platform that's going to provide you lots of responsive controls, meaning if you want to really look at the mobile design and the iPad or tablet design as well as the desktop, they have it laid out so easy for you to make sure everything loads responsively, and it also just looks very nice and is super easy to use. Unlike Showit and some of the other website platforms out there that make it really difficult to design your mobile website. One of the biggest things that helps me decide on the website platform is how my clients are going to like the platform when I hand it off to them. Because the worst thing is you hand the website off to your clients and they have no idea how to use it, how to edit it. But I feel like with Wix Studio, the back end of Wix Studio is very easy to manage. Another reason that you might want to use Wix Studio is because of the CMS and dynamic content that it allows for. You can build scalable, data-driven websites using Wix Studio and all the features of the CMS system that comes with it. I understand that picking the website platform is the hardest part sometimes when it comes to starting a website project for your clients, and that's why I like to do these videos to show you guys the deep dive and to pick something that actually works for you and for your business, because my biggest thing that I always preach is to not always be in that shiny object syndrome where you're trying out all the platforms and you're so overwhelmed. Pick the platform that works for you, and I hope that this video will give you some insight on if Wix Studio is the right platform for you as well. So in this video, I'm going to share with you how to create a custom website, starting with how to plan your layout. That is the first thing I do when it comes to designing a website, is I like to work on the wireframe of the website on Figma. So we're going to do that together. I'm also going to show you guys how to set up the pages inside of Wix Studio. And then we're going to do a deep dive on some of the really awesome custom design tools and the animations and even some custom cursor elements that we can add. So I'm going to do a deep dive on all of the fun design elements. I'm also going to show you guys the responsiveness tools and how to make sure that the mobile side of your website is perfect. And then we're going to publish and launch it. I'm going to show you guys how easy that is to do. So we're going to do a deep dive into Wix Studio, but we got a lot to do. So let's jump on over to my computer. All right, guys. So the first thing that I like to do with all my website projects is to come up with the overall website style. So I did a deep dive on this on my Patreon. Be sure to check that out if you want to get more details on like the full design process. But I did create the kind of like style and the direction that we're taking the website. So let me go back to my Figma. I always design my website wireframes inside of Figma. And the really cool thing about that is with Wix Studio, you can actually use the plugin to bring your design over to Wix Studio, which makes the design process so seamless. But this is the 3 different homepage options I created for my client. A few tips that I wanted to share with you guys when I do create that like homepage. I like to start with the homepage because I want to make sure that I'm on the right path with the style before before I go and make all the interior pages and make the styles of the website look similar. So I like to start with the homepage, but what I always like to do first is create the header and the footer. I like to start with those two pieces and then fill in the body of the website after that. So this client came to me and they really wanted to keep things very minimal and simple. They don't like websites with a lot of text on it, which I do advise my clients that having enough text is actually what helps you with SEO. But I do like to find that balance between making it minimalistic, but also very clear. And I want it to make sense what they do and how to get in touch with them and their services and how you can work with them. So for this client, I wanted this top section to be really clean and simple. And I'm actually picturing this right here, this image being a slideshow. So I do tell that to my client when I'm presenting this to them, that this will be a slideshow of different images playing for them. And then they can click here and go and explore some photos of example makeup. She's a makeup artist, so we really want the website to have some good visuals in it. So this top section is pretty simple, but just a very clear statement. This is the H1 of the website, which is basically the main statement of what the website is about. We want it to be simple, short, and to the point. So we have that up here. We have a slideshow down below here. So for my websites, I like to have the top section, I want it to have a call to action. The next section, I want it to be a little bit more about the business. And like for this, we want it to be visuals. And then right after that, we have a section all about her. She's the artist. So you're kind of figuring out if you want to work with her. So I wanted to call that out pretty high up on the page. And then we have some fun little like script elements here, which will be super easy to do on Wix Studio. We want the website to almost feel like a love note to the clients and the viewers of the website. And then we have a breakdown of the services she provides. We have a testimonial section, which when you click this quote here will change, which we can do that on Wix Studio. We have another slideshow and a bottom section. So I want to take this homepage design and bring it into Wix Studio. There's a few ways I could do this. I could either click this and go to the plugins in here, which I probably have it saved, Figma to Wix Studio right here. If I open that up, we should be able to get started and it will walk you through how to do all these steps. So within your Figma, or actually within your Wix Studio, which let's head on over there, we're going to go to create a new website to start. Okay, so I selected start from scratch and it takes me to this blank canvas here. And when I'm in here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to these three lines on the very left hand side. We're going to go to tools and we're going to go import from Figma. And then from here, we can go back to our Figma design and we can copy the link to this page. So I'm going to go share, and we actually might need to make it in its own page instead of having those three home pages. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go copy link, head back over to Wix Studio, paste that link in, connect it, and it looks like we're going to have to go over here, select the plugin on our Figma design, set up export, go to next, and start export. I want to export the styles first though. That way we can have all the colors and the fonts and everything set up in Wix Studio. So let's select that one, and all of them are in here. So let's go to export styles, back to our Wix Studio, refresh the import, and we should see that in here. Perfect. So we're going to have to upload the fonts, but all the colors are in here. So let's upload the fonts real quick so we have all of that set up. All the fonts are uploading in here. I get the question a lot if I have my clients pay for the fonts or if I pay for them. I typically always have my clients pay for their own font licenses. That way they can download it to their computer and they're the main user of it, because a lot of fonts need a license for each computer it's installed on. So I do like to make sure my clients purchase the license. However, for the purpose of this video, I have the fonts, so I'm just showing you how we can upload that on Wix Studio super easily. And once that's done, we should be able to, and this might just take a minute to upload or recognize those, but it looks like that is all good to go. Let me just drag this over. I'm going to click this button here to apply the styles to the fonts. Or apply style to the site, but let's just make sure. I'm gonna just apply it and continue without fonts and see if it will recognize those eventually. Awesome. So all the colors are in here, typography's in here, so we're good to go with that. I'm gonna go back to the plugin now, and what I want to do is I'm going to click back into my Figma design, and we are going to go open that plugin again, set up export. I'm done connecting my file, and we're going to go to start export, but we're going to export the frame now. And actually, you don't need to have this homepage in a different design because we're able to select just the frame that we're clicked on. So it's recognizing this one. So I'm going to go to export frame, back to my Wix Studio, refresh, import, and we should see that in here. Awesome. Here is the design, and we can add the frame as a page, section, container. So if you wanted to, maybe just do a section on Figma that you're uploading in here, you can always select that. But we're going to make it a page. So I'm going to go to add to site, and we'll be able to watch it basically develop the site for us, which is pretty dang amazing. I remember thinking that we would never have this option, so it's really cool to see how easy Wix Studio has made it for us. Okay, just finished adding all the elements to our website, so let's take a look and see how accurate it got it. I'm already liking what I see. The only thing I noticed is when you do this Figma to Wix Studio, it doesn't recognize this as the header, probably because I should have made it inside of its own section, but that's okay. We can do that. I feel like for the most part, it got everything right on point for us, which is awesome. As you can see, everything's looking honestly perfect. So that is great to see. So what I want to do is I'm going to make the header and just place it inside of this here. So I'm going to click in here. Let's first just copy this image. That way we can replace this with that logo. I'm just going to delete that actually, and delete this as well. Just pasting what we copied and getting that inside of the header here. I'm just going to shrink the size a little bit and make sure that it is centered with this section. Okay, cool. And then now it placed all the menu items in its own container, which is really great. So I'm just copying that, and we're going to paste it up into the header as well. Let me just go back down here and delete those two. And we're going to also move all of the social icons up here as well. And actually, before I delete that menu, I'm just going to go back. We actually would want, instead of these being in a container, I mean, you can always do that and just hyperlink each text item, but I do like having a menu. So I'm just going to delete this container, and we're going to just use the menu that it already had designed in here. And then you can also do these really great hover effects for like when you're on a menu item. And I actually really like the look of the underline. Looks like this is right justified. So let's see if we can change that. Yeah, so when you click into manage menu, we can add all those other items. So let's do main pages. So we'll have to go add those pages once we're done with this design section here. But let's go up to, so I just wanted to click on paragraph 1 as the style so we can get that font in here. And I'm going to shrink the font size down to like 16. I also want it to be all capital. Great, we got the header all set up. We'll just have to create all those pages to add that to the menu in here. But I also want to scroll through the site and make any changes that we need to, because sometimes the import doesn't get it perfect, but usually it's very, very close to being perfect. So I'm going to just highlight all 3 of these elements here. And I just want to make sure it's centered to the section. And you can actually just go over here and let's go to, let me just zoom out slightly. But we can create a stack and then we can align it to the section. I'm going to do the same for the image here. And we can also play around with making that a slideshow. But as you can see, the drag and drop features on Wix Studio are so seamless to use, and I just love that about it. So I think for this right here, we're gonna have to go to the elements, and we're gonna have to find a slider or slideshow. We can just go to media, maybe look in there. We can even type in gallery at the top and see what it has for that. But I love how Wix Studio has tons of great elements that you can play around with and use. And you can also customize them. So if we wanted to use something like this, we can go to settings and we can change it inside of here. So let's select slideshow settings. I don't want anything to happen when you click on it. And then let's see, for text, I don't want title or description. We want it to be super simple. We also don't need navigation arrows. I want it to autoplay. Slide animation. Let's do a fade. Go to advanced autoplay. Maybe for the speed, we'll just keep it as normal. And then let's manage the photos inside of here. So I don't have a ton of photos from this client yet, so I'm just going to actually just search inside of Wix Studio. Let's go to add media, image, and it's great because it connects with Unsplash, which is where I get tons of photos for my clients anyway. I'm going to select this here. She likes that very minimalistic style. Oops, don't want to crop it. Update, so we can have that one in the gallery. Let's just make sure we delete all these other photos because we don't need those. Let's just select all except for, perfect, there we go. Let's go to add media and we can add a few more just to make sure that the slider is working how we want it to. Add media, image, and let's do one that looks like a client example. Let's do this one. Update, done, perfect. So then we can actually just change the sizing like this and we can make it fill the entire container that it's in. Don't want to do that because now it's just changing the background. So what I would do is just make it fit the same sizing of what we had in here. Perfect. I'm just going to delete this image behind it. And to bring this element to the top, I think we can go to those three dots and arrange bring to front. Super easy. So let's just take a peek at how that looks. Make sure that these images are changing. Let's go back to edit site and make sure that the slideshow is working as it should. So I'm going to go to settings. Okay, so it looks like cool. So when you click onto the slideshow, we can go to loop images to make sure that they autoplay, slide automatically, and then from here we will be able to make sure that it's playing on its own. So just say continuous and maybe a little bit faster. We don't need the info bar, so I just shrunk that down. And we also don't need it to pause on the hover. Let's just publish the site so we don't lose anything. It is auto-saving for us, as you can see at the top corner there. But I'm just going to call this the name of our website so we don't lose it. And then as you can see up here, it's saving. Should be. I saw that it was saving a minute ago, so we should be good. Perfect. So let's go to preview again and just check out the look of the slideshow. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. I just do not want those navigation arrows on it. So let's just click back in here. Settings. Let's just remove those. Perfect. Okay. Awesome. So we have the slideshow set up. We could do the same thing for this section down here. Because this is a slideshow, what I would want to do is I'm actually just going to delete this container. So as you can see, when we import things, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That's okay. Wix Studio makes it very easy for you to add in custom sections and use these elements that it comes with. So let's go back to gallery and then let's go to pro galleries. And we wanted it to be something like this again. We can always go and customize it like we did before. But let's just click on that. Okay, uploaded those images. I'm just adding it to the slider. And once again, we can kind of customize this. So I'm going to go into settings. I want to remove the title and description. We're going to remove that, but you can have that if you want. I just don't want that. I also don't need an overlay, so let's just remove that. And let's go back. Let's go to the main settings here. Click on customize layout. And when you click crop, so if you have an image that's not the perfect sizing or if they're all different sizing, that'll just crop it to all be the same sizes, which is great. We can do image ratio fixed or responsive. Let's loop the images again and slide automatically and make that continuous. I mean, we can have it continuous. I actually, for this section, don't want that. I actually do want some navigation arrows. So let's go to design, navigation arrows, and you can actually upload your own custom one, which is so cool. Let's just go to that. It can make a no background arrow and just change the arrow color with our theme colors already in here. Perfect. You can do outside the gallery, on the gallery, and as you can see right here is where it's at. I'm going to go to design and let's go back. Okay, so for the spacing, I actually want that pretty small, maybe like 10. Perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to click on this arrow here to just stretch it and fill that whole container. And I actually don't want the rounded corners, so let me go into settings. We'll just remove that radius. Perfect. Let's publish that so we can take a look at how everything is feeling. Let's go to view site, and we actually don't have the menu set up, so we're going to have to go to preview this page. We've got the slideshow at the top here, and down below here we should be able to click through. And right now you're able to click on those images to view them bigger. But that's perfect. Awesome. Okay, so the button is also doing exactly what I wanted to, so that's great. I'm very impressed with how well it just like imported everything in. I just think that's so cool. And since we have this section built out now, I can apply it to the bottom of the page since we have another slideshow down there. So I can go to these 3 dots and we can go to duplicate. You can duplicate the section and we can drag it into that section down below. Or what I could do is just copy it, scroll down the page, click into this container here. And another thing to note is whatever sizing you're designing with on Figma for the desktop, that is going to be the size that it imports as. So just make sure that when you start your design on Figma that you like that sizing for the whole website. And of course, we'll have to make it responsive, but I just pasted this slider in, and we can make sure that it's stretched to fit this container by clicking this unstretch and stretch so it fits this specific one. And it looks like there's like slight spacing below this section, or maybe at the top of this one. So let's just double check that. There we go. Perfect. I'm going to click into this actually, and let's make sure this stretches to fill in the entire space. Because these are 2 different elements. When I designed this, I wanted some texture behind the section. So let me just center this so that it covers everything. And actually, we just need to stretch this. So it looks like this container, I'm just going to unstretch it so I can play around with the sizing of it because I want it to reach the edges of each side. I'm going to actually remove container because I want to be able to just have one container. I don't want a container within a container for this. It's just kind of creating some confusion. So let me delete this. This is why you have to make sure that everything does import okay. And we can actually create a overlay opacity inside of Wix Studio to make things super easy. Just like that. And then let's center it to the section, and we can create a stack out of these items and just center it here. Perfect. Okay, awesome. The only other thing I want to do to show you how awesome this is the testimonial section here. So let me click inside of this, and we can either go to the elements and type in testimonial and take a look at the options that they have, and then just like copy elements from these different designs. So I think I kind of want to do that. This one looks like the easiest to edit. So I'm going to click on that, and let's go back into our layers and make sure that this is set up correctly by clicking on the image and stretching the image to fill everything. So it looks like this is placed in a different container again. So I just want to make sure that we don't have duplicates of each item because that's where we could run into some issues. So I'm actually just going to delete this container, and we'll be able to add that overlay color again. Perfect. And then we can actually change the padding. There's a lot of padding up top here, which I don't mind some padding, but I want to fill that in, and then we can kind of customize the padding and make sure it's even on both sides. So let's do 200, 200. Perfect. I just wanted that to reach the edges. And now what I want to do is create some spacing around the container. Okay, so let's go to the elements here and bring in this testimonial design, which it's placing it in a whole other container up top. So what we're going to want to do is just click in to this stack because I believe that's all we're going to need. Let me go to low layers and see how they're doing this. Okay, so this is actually not a template I want to use because I don't think it's actually sliding through the different testimonials. So we're all just going to have to build it, which is fine. I'm going to go to the elements, and I'm going to go to lighter. Inside of the layout tools, they actually have an element already made that's in here. That's exactly what we're looking for. So let's just click on this one, see how that works, and added it in here. So what I'm going to do is just click inside. We can actually redesign this entire item if we want to. We can remove that image, and we can have this image branded to what we're looking at. Okay, so in the slideshow settings, we can see that we have it on an auto loop and it's clicking through all of these different items. So that's exactly what we want because we want it to be connected to the photo. So I'm actually just going to click into our original design here and we're going to delete what we have in here so we can just work on this here. Okay, so let's center this. We can stretch it to fill in more of the space. Center it. And for the background color, I'm going to remove the background color. So we're just going to have to do that for each of them. So I'm just clicking into each item to make sure there's no repeats. Let's go into the slider settings again. So it looks like that background color was covering each item stack. So what we can do is go into the settings here and let's try doing it with no transition. So in here we can change the icon, but I'm going to keep it the way it is. And let's go back into these items. Okay, so here is how the website is looking. I have some fun effects here when we scroll on the quote here. Hover effects look really great. We have the slider looking cool. And then the fade effects. So this is already looking so great. There's definitely tweaks I need to make, but I'm really happy with it. I also wanted to show you guys, if we go back to my Wix Studio, and if we go just to the main page here, on the right hand side, we can scroll down to the cursor settings and we can actually add our own fun cursor. So let's see what ones they have in here for us to use. We want something very minimal. We could do like a retro one. Let's type in lips. I feel like we have a lot of like lipstick, makeup, so maybe like a fun thing like this would be cool. So let's try this one. And for the sizing, you can change the size here. And I usually just kind of base it off like what we have going right now, which I think like 30, 28 is good. And then you can apply to more pages if you want to. I have it on the home page, so I just want to see what that looks like. And then let's publish it. Go to view site. And then sometimes I have to like refresh the page for it to be seen. And there it is. Kind of cute little like lips for the cursor. So cool. I don't know. I think it's kind of a cute touch for your websites to add that. So cute. Awesome. So that is how you design the like main page. Now, if we wanted to edit the mobile side of the website or the tablet size, all you have to do is click up here. And for the most part, it places things where they need to be, but we would have to go in here and just like adjust things slightly. And then same for mobile as well. But for the most part, things are where they need to be. It just needs to be edited slightly. But it's really easy to navigate and easy to use. And then I wanted to show you guys, if you are ready to like transfer the website to your clients or you're ready to launch it, we would just go to the dashboard. You would just go to these three dots, which are the site actions, and you'd go to transfer website. You can get client feedback too, which is really cool. You just add the client as a collaborator and they can leave comments. But if you go to transfer site, it will prompt you to enter the client's email address. We can do mine as an example. And you can describe them as client, agency. We'll say a client, continue. You would want to keep your role as a co-owner if you're going to continue to edit the site for them. And you can also keep a copy on your own account so that you can, use it as portfolio items or just like have a saved design. And from here, all you have to do is transfer ownership. It's so easy, just a few clicks of the button and you're good to go and you still have access to edit the website. I love it. I think it's such a great platform for creating custom websites and for getting client feedback in such a seamless way. You can get your clients' feedback by just inviting them to the design, and we can also build the site on a temporary domain so that when you're ready to launch it, we're able to transfer it to their account. Wix Studio makes it really seamless to create custom websites, and I just had to show you guys how it's possible. So if you've been wondering how to make a custom website using Wix Studio, I hope this video helped you out. It is super easy to use, also really fun to use, especially if you're a visual person. But I really hope that my deep dive into Wix Studio helped you out today. If it did, I'd appreciate it so much if you gave this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel down below, and be sure to check out Wix Studio. I have a link down below for you guys, and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in my next video.